Hello folks and welcome back to the Advantage Line, your one-stop shop for all things NRL and Rugby League. My name is Carl Tiley. I'm back in the hot seat. Next to me, old mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Carl. Yeah, we're at the business end, the big dance in terms of the Rugby League World Cup.
Sure is.
Both of the Rugby League World Cups.
And the business end of our season too. This is, for those that care, the last Advantage Line for the season. We'll be taking a much needed break. Surly's got to get a couple of operations, clean out some stuff, and
Cartilage.
Yeah, and come back just a better man in 2023. Speaking of Surly, mate, how are you? How was your week?
Yeah, good. Still stinging from that loss, to be fair. That Kiwis loss, that really hurt. And no surprise Blake didn't front, because I think the Aussies are going to go 0-2 this weekend, but we'll get into that soon. But yeah, like he was big in the chat over the weekend, hasn't come in to back it up. Disappointing, but it still hurts.
Yeah, as Surly said, no Blake Ashford again. He's what's the word? He hasn't been let go by the club, but he's having a wee break, an early break. His season's done. We're hoping he comes back a bigger and better person for next year too.
He's having a timeout.
He did say in our chat he will apologise about Samoa and Jerome Luai if they win this week. But he's pretty confident Australia will win. But anyway, let's rip in. I'm going to start with New Zealand versus Australia. New Zealand versus Australia. Can you tell it's been a week? One of the great test matches, Paul.
It
was incredible.
They almost beat themselves to a standstill, both sides. Towards the end of the game, it looked like they were almost going in slow motion because of the energy that both teams had expended during that match. It started off with a hiss and a roar, and both teams are going at it at 100 miles an hour. Some great tries were scored. Joey Manu, the way he was able to just jump up, catch the ball basically in midair and pass the ball off to, was it Jerome Hughes, I think, for that first try. It was a beautifully placed kick, first of all.
Probably could have scored it himself.
He probably could have, although because he was up in the air, he probably could have got held up because he had no sort of momentum for him to crash over. So he probably took the best option there, and it was a wonderful try. The Fox try, he's just ridiculously good. Don't ever mention any other winger's name when you're talking about the best winger in the world. Okay, Dom Young, sure, he had a great start, and he is a very good winger, but he's not the Fox. No one is the Fox. And somebody should probably tell Freddie Fittler about the Fox, because he's quite a good winger, and he represents New South Wales.
It's a likeable character too.
He is.
For someone who plays for the Australian side, where Kiwis traditionally hate Australians, and the Australian team, he's actually a really likeable guy.
I saw him on TikTok.
Of course you did.
He was
Was he in your DMs?
He was not on the DMs.
Were you in his?
I was not in his DMs either, but he was on TikTok, and he was showing you and explaining the different Aboriginal dances.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I actually saw one of him scaring Daly Cherry Evans.
Yeah, he's got him a couple times now. It's good.
Yeah. Daly Cherry Evans, no fight when it comes to flight or fight. No. It's all flight. Surely the Kiwi halves really stood up in this one. Hughes and Brown both scoring a try. Brown setting up Hughes' try. As Paul said, Joey Manu, the spine just really clicked, and we were unlucky. The Kiwis were unlucky not to get it done.
I think the reason it hurts so much is for at least 60 minutes we were the better side. I thought we really had Aussie rattled. We made a few key errors in our own half in the second half. We were forcing Aussie into those errors in the first 40. You saw guys like Nathan Cleary and that just dropping the ball in contact, which you don't see often. And we were all over them. But then, I don't know about Ashley Klein. Interesting, you got an Aussie refereeing a New Zealand versus Aussie game. I don't know whatever happened to our mutual referees, but that seems to have gone out the window. I also thought our interchange rotation, I think Madge kind of needs to put his hand up and say he got that one wrong, because I think Brandon Smith kind of let in that try for the Cam Murray off the penalty. That was really soft, but he was just out on his feet. I think he was still in the in goal talking to the trainer, just catching a breath. He needed to come off 5 minutes earlier. Big Nelson at the end, he was walking. We needed to make those subs a little bit earlier and get some fresh legs on. But yeah, a lot of players really stood up for us. I thought the Kiwis played really well, just showed Aussie are beatable. They didn't look as perfect as they have in the past. And yeah, maybe it's the one that got away for us a bit.
Yeah, disappointing. The offside call, was it offside?
Technically, yes.
Well,
no, technically it was offside.
Yeah, in the NRL, I don't know if they would have been as quick to make that decision. Like, the thing that got me was the speed of how quick he made it. Like, within seconds, he was like offside. One angle, didn't even look from different views. He was just like, yep, clearly offside. And I was sitting on the couch just being like, hang on a minute, are we going to get a couple more angles to look at this one? Because it was a key moment in the game. But yeah, the video ref wasn't mucking around.
Did he get a phone call from the Rugby League World Cup organisers saying, look, the tickets are booked, they're definitely offside?
I think on to the video referee's defence, that's the first thing they check when a try is scored, right? Is they go back and check for offside,
yeah,
for a kick.
All players onside.
So he may have already done his due diligence there, but yeah, it was very quick. I've definitely seen worse
offsides not get
called not offside. So disappointing. And I guess when you lose, you find any excuse to,
because that was a huge momentum swing.
Oh yeah,
they scored that try, and Rapana hadn't missed a kick. He puts that one over there.
Let's talk about that. Like,
he turned into
New Zealand can kick goals now.
Yeah, he was the guy. He was the guy we needed all along. We kind of found out early that he was our preferred option, but he wasn't hitting them too sweetly in those first couple of games. But I'm glad he came right. One thing he did do wrong that ground my gears a little bit was that Josh Adokar try. Like, he was just jogging back, didn't even make a play for the ball. I'm not sure if he thought Manu was going to go for it, but it was clearly his to try and defuse that bomb, and he just chilled. And Adokar, world's fastest man, just sprinted past him, called it easy as you like.
That's one of the biggest communication breakdowns I've ever seen. Manu running at the ball, he can see Fox coming. Surely he's saying, hurry up. And, for Fox to get that and go through untouched, and then Rapana look at Manu like, what are you up to, bro? It was, that hurt. That hurt. But anyway, we'll move on. Good game. Well, I'm not going to say well played Australia, but
no.
Good luck to Blake. On Joey Manu, though, world's best international player, wins the Golden Boot. Were we expecting any different, lads?
No, not really. He's been a standout during the NRL season for the Roosters. In that international break in the middle of the season, he was the standout player for the Kiwis, and he's just continued on with that form during this World Cup. It's a fairly easy decision for mine.
To my recollection, Surly, the third Kiwi in recent memory to win the Golden Boot behind Benji and SJ.
Yeah, I knew you'd slip an SJ comment in there, so that's great work from you, mate, finding a way. You love to hear it. But yeah, Joey Manu, I think we all knew that if the Kiwis were going to be a chance in this World Cup, it was going to be off the back of a huge couple of shifts from him. I think he averaged like 260 run meters, had his two final games, he both clocked over 300. So clearly a big game player. He's just so safe at the back, gets so involved, almost too involved at times, but he's an incredible footballer. And I think, look, he met his match with Tedesco on the weekend, but aren't the Roosters lucky to have two guys like that? Pretty crazy.
Not only to have two guys like that, but their third best fullback is lining up in the final for Samoa as well.
Yeah.
Very healthy socks. I'm not sure when Joey Manu's off contract. He's just signed another one, didn't he?
I think 2024 he's available to negotiate a new deal. So
he could be the first $2 million man.
Well, he can play every position almost. He wouldn't look out of place anywhere on the paddock. So,
How much do the Warriors have to spend?
So if you're listening up, Warriors, start planning now for Joey Manu.
if the Roosters can afford him, then surely every other club can afford him too, because there's some big off-field payments going on there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Samoa. Wow. I don't
see it.
think anyone in this room or anyone watching the rugby league
I did not see
saw
it.
this coming after the first game.
Nope. Didn't see it.
We were having a couple of drinks around the table on Saturday night, talking about this is a couple of mates who are in a wee syndicate together, talking about what we should bet on, and we all came to the conclusion to take England minus 20 points.
Oh.
At least
we loaded up too.
at least you knew your bet was gone fairly early on.
Yeah. Crazy.
The Samoans, Surly, they played incredible, and it's not like England played bad either.
Nah, I think pre-tournament I was pretty high on the Samoans, much to Blake's disgust, and I'm kind of gutted because I jumped off the bandwagon, started to turn on the lads. So wish I kind of stuck by my word now, because I would have looked like a real genius. But now they played really well, and off the back of that, I also don't think that they would have lost to either Australia or New Zealand on the back of those performances. Like they were really good. England were up for it. Samoa were just better than them on the day, and they almost found a way to lose it. The referee made some interesting calls in that one as well, but full credit to them, calm, composed, and they won in a really tight clash. And off the back of getting beaten 60 points to 6, I thought the mental side of things was going to be too hard for them to overcome. But yeah, what a performance led by their skipper. And then guys like Luai and that just continue to show that, look, he is a pretty handy footballer.
The Penrith Panthers, Paul, turns out they're a pretty good team, pretty good club. They've got players scattered in both Australia and Samoa. And one guy that stands out has had an absolute barnstorming couple of years. Stephen Crichton really stood up for the Samoans. Another intercept. Loves an intercept. He did it in the grand final 2 years ago, the one against the Bunnies. Yeah, and then he did it in the prelim this year, did he?
Yeah.
Was it against
Bunnies again?
Yeah, it was the Bunnies again.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Almost a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Iced the game with a field goal. He is exceptional.
I mean, there were no bad players on the field for the Samoans, for Toa Samoa in that semi-final, but he was certainly, if not the difference maker, one of the pivotal players there. He made pretty much every decision he made was the correct decision. And it's not easy kicking a field goal over it in a World Cup semi-final. Not that I know, but it was not easy doing that from 30 odd meters out.
Yeah.
I'd say it's not that hard, Paul, but
like you, I've scored no field goals in a Rugby League World Cup semi-final. So
I've scored no field goals in my career. I've had a crack at one, and it missed by a long way.
Shank.
It's pretty crazy though. Like 22 years old. He's already had a couple huge moments in massive games, 2 premierships. Probably not the most noted guy for field goals either. Obviously at Penrith you'd have Cleary and probably a few other guys ahead of him. He steps up, calm as you like, and slots it. So we talk about these big game players. People mention your Latrells and whatnot, but you could argue Crichton's right up there now, and he's still so young.
Similar path, perhaps, to Joey Manu. Plays out in the centres. He's said that he wants to play at fullback. He's got all the makings of a very similar player, and the way he's going about it the last couple of seasons can definitely see that. So
it's going to be hard though for Penrith, right? They've got Taruva as well, who needs to be playing minutes. He's a great fullback. Like all these guys, unfortunately, are going to have to sacrifice where they want to play. If they want to stay at Penrith, then he's probably going to have to be a centre.
Will come to the Warriors. Just an option. Paulo, tip tackle. He's okay to play. What did you guys think when it happened, Paul?
Different rules at this time of a tournament. Different rules.
I thought he was gone. Like, there's no way after what he went through the week before.
Yeah.
There was no chance in my mind he was playing this week. Certainly, I was very surprised when I saw that he got away with it and he's eligible to play this week.
Yeah, I think the fact he didn't really drive him into the ground probably helped him. And I think Royce Hunt was in the tackle too. And then Burgess and the English coach and stuff kind of came out and said, let him play. But yeah, look, I think just finals, you make a bit of an exemption. He's probably suspended for 6 weeks to start the season next year for Parramatta or something stupid like that. But yeah, I'm glad he's playing. He likes to live life on the edge, doesn't he? Like you said, the semi and now the final, but Samoa would be gone without him. So yeah, it was pretty nervous times there. And after the game, they asked him about it and he kind of said he'd enjoy the moment and see what happens. But yeah, it's not something you want to make a habit of.
It is not. Just ask Jared and Maria Hargraves. Anyway, Kiwi Ferns into the final. How good? On the back of an already historic week here in New Zealand with the Black Ferns winning the Rugby World Cup final. This could be, Paul, 2 of the biggest weeks in women's sport, particularly for New Zealand, back to back.
These girls can play. They can play, and they've got some classy players too. The Kiwi Ferns, that McGregor in the halves, was it that Nichols out in the back line? They've got a couple of big forwards too, who sort of terrorised the English defensive line. Now, the Aussie women, you're not going to get as helpful a defence as they got against the English, but those girls will still attract a number of defenders, which will create opportunities elsewhere on the park. So they do. Look, they played already in the round robin. There's only 2 points in it.
10-8, was it?
Just 2 points in it. So, and what are they? They're 15.5-point underdogs for the final. Oh,
give me the
that's
plus.
Just take the plus until the bookies crumble. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand that myself. These girls are right in it. I know the Aussie women have got a very, very good team, but the Kiwi Ferns, they're not bums.
Yeah,
they can play the game.
Exactly. Certainly I can't recall her name, but the centre who got the player of the match against England only debuted 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Running for 230 or 240 metres in a semi-final of a World Cup.
Yeah, Hufanga, I think her name is. She's a real handful, man. And yeah, a heck of an athlete. I think she played for the Blues in the Super Rugby Aupiki, so she's new to rugby league, but she's put her hand up and said she wants to play NRLW next year, and I can imagine a few sides will be really scrambling to sign her. And then alongside, like Paulie mentioned, I think it's Hall in the middle in the 12 jersey. Geez, she can send defenders flying. She was making doormats out of the English defenders. She really winds up. So a few terrifying sights out there, and they're a good side to watch, much like the Black Ferns. They kind of play at a high tempo. They throw the ball around, and the skill level's really high. So, yeah, I was really surprised at that line as well. I think maybe Blake's been making the odds this weekend, but I'll be jumping all over that.
Can't wait to see Blake's big multi $1.10 into $1.10.
Huge.
That's flying. All right, we'll have a quick look at the games this week shortly, but before we do that, Paul, your standout player of the week.
Well, I sort of picked one out from each team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought George Williams was really good for the English in that semi-final. It just goes to show if he had been happy in Australia, what he could have done at the Raiders. He's a very, very good player, and he creates a lot of sort of, I guess, second guessing in the opposition defensive line. So I thought he played a huge part there. I thought the Fox was really good for the Australians, although I think he was edged out by Tedesco. I think he ran for over 300 metres in that match. He was very, very good. For the Kiwis, well, I'll go for the player of another person who ran for over 300 metres, Joey Manu at the back. And then for the Samoans, I'm going with Stephen Crichton. He kicked the winning field goal and golden point. As you say, scored an intercept, scored another try as well. Played very, very well on defence. You get the feeling he's the sort of player who could play anywhere in that back line and look like a superstar.
Yeah, agree. Shirley?
I just went with Jerome Luai. 3 man of the match performances over the past 4 weeks for Samoa. I think he had 3 try assists on the weekend too. And I just think without that steadiness that he brings in the half, his competitive nature and everything else that goes with it, I think they'd be all at sea. So yeah, another Penrith lad, like we mentioned, just ripping it up. But great to see him doing it. And hopefully he can take on old Nathan Cleary this week and have the same luck.
It's a real shame Blake's not here because I know that would wind him up too.
Oh, that's why I had it in my notes here. It's just purely to piss Blake off. I was also going to mention that Tonga were beaten in the quarterfinal and he had them all over his bet slips. But yeah.
Well, he wasn't the only one.
That's why he left. Yeah. Crichton was the standout this week for me, but also for England, I've written down Herbie Farnworth.
Yeah.
He was huge out on the left edge there. And probably to the Brisbane Broncos fans' disappointment, he could have helped them a lot late in the season to maybe progress to the top 8. But he was huge and very fast, very strong.
I see he's come out and said he wants to play fullback and he wants around 800 grand for his next deal per year. So big Herbie's
fullback.
Yeah, he's obviously feeling himself after that one. He's thought, forget Reece Walsh. I've decided I want to play fullback and I want to be paid very handsomely for it. So there we go.
Me too. Can play fullback.
There we go.
We'll take $800.
Well, you're putting your hand up for fullback as well.
I'll take $800 per match.
At the Wars, though, not the Bronx.
Win or lose. Yeah. Okay. This week's games. Let's start with the men's final. Australia $1.10, Samoa $6.50. Is it still the same?
Yep.
Yeah.
17.5 point favourites, the Australians. The only question I think needs to be asked, Paul, does Samoa have a realistic chance this week?
I don't think so. And I may regret these comments, but I think they played their final last weekend. They were superb. They were brilliant last weekend against the English. I just don't know if they've got enough for the step up against the Kangaroos. The Kangaroos were really tested by the Kiwis. I think that'll do them a lot of good because they basically cruised through this tournament until that semi-final against the Kiwis. So I think they'll be ready to go. Mal he'll have his best squad out there. I can't see them doing to the Kangaroos what they did to the English. So I think the 17.5. Look, I said last week that 7.5 point underdogs. I said that wasn't enough. I was way wrong, and I could be wrong again. But I'm sticking to my guns. Look, if the Samoans get up and win, I'll be so happy. TAB won't be that happy. Because crikey, we've been absolute. You think they're passionate out in the streets with their flags and their music and the cars? They're getting passionate about backing this team as well.
Punters are coming.
They're $6.50 outsiders, and we've taken almost 3 times as much money on the Samoans than we've taken on the Kangaroos. Now, that should be around the other way and wound up a wee bit more. So there's a significant liability on Toa Samoa to win this match with the TAB. But I would be so happy if they could do it. I just can't see it happening.
I'm going to jump in here, Sully, because I think you might disagree with what Paul and I are saying. I'm with Paul. I don't think Samoa have a chance this week. Or not that they don't have a chance. I don't think they'll win this week. I am going to take the 17.5 for Australia. Like Paul said, I don't know if Samoa can back up 2 really tough games in a row. The Tongan game into the English game. They also played England in the first game. Australia obviously only had the one tough game against the Kiwis, but I think they've got more experience when it comes to challenging games, and they'll, after that sort of kicking the butt from the Kiwis last week, I think they'll rise to another level. We'll see in the betting shortly all over Australia. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 10-12 situation with 20 minutes to go, and then Australia just absolutely blow them off the park late. And on the back of your betting call, $7,000 bet on Samoa at 650, $3,400 bet on Samoa at 750. Huge. Surly, tell us why the Samoans can win.
Yeah, well, look, head says Australia, heart says Samoa, absolutely. And I think, obviously, they go in with no pressure on them, and that's when they're the most dangerous. I think Aussie really expect to win. Everyone expects Australia to win, and with that comes a little bit of pressure. They haven't exactly been firing on all cylinders. They're dangerous. They've got a number of individuals all across the park that are the best in their positions in the world, but for some reason, they haven't quite gelled perfectly as much as probably people have expected, and they haven't really, apart from that Kiwis game, been pushed. So I think Samoa will just go in with that attitude. They've got nothing to lose. They might not get back to a World Cup final if origin eligibility rules change and things like that. They might not get your Luais, your To'os in this side again. So look, they can just roll the dice, give it a red hot crack. You won't find a more passionate bunch of lads. So fingers crossed they can show up. If they score first points and get their tails up, then Aussie could be in for a real day. So look, I'm hopeful that they can make it happen. If not, definitely cover that line. And just how good would it be to see them get the dub? I think Samoa, Auckland, everywhere would erupt. It would be a heck of a win, and then we'd all be wishing it was just that Kiwi-Samoa final, because what a treat that would have been. But
yeah, I do, just to be clear, I do kind of hope they win, but I don't think they will. Have you guys got any points here around how the Samoans can beat Australia? What do they have to do, Surly, to have a chance at winning?
I think we saw the Kiwis offload game really troubled Australia, especially early. Our big forwards were able to get their hands free and play off the back of the offloads, and Samoa, they'll really thrive off that as well. So I think they need to play a bit of ad-lib footy and just kind of chuck it around a bit, try dominate Aussie through the middle like the Kiwis did with their big forwards, and really slow down that play the ball in the ruck, and then just chance their arm and present Australia with something they're probably not used to seeing. But it all comes down to the halves, Luai and Milford. Luai's been really good, Milford up and down, but his past 2 games have been pretty solid. If he can put in another decent shift, then I think they can go with them for a large majority of the game.
I think the Samoans are very much an early momentum team. And if they can score first and get their heads up and get a wee bit of that sort of energy going, then I think they're a chance. That's what they did against the English, scored first, and then they just kept picking up points at regular intervals during the match. If they can do that against the Kangaroos, I think they probably have to score probably a couple of times early on to really get a bit of momentum and to shake the Aussies up, and maybe force them into some uncharacteristic errors. Then they're a slight chance. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think they have to come out hot on attack, but I think they have to come out hot on defense as well. That first 20 minutes, just up in the Australians' face as fast as you can off that line straight away, and just really try and rattle them into making some mistakes and capitalize on those mistakes. Sure, it might take something out of the tank and you sort of leave yourself exposed at the back end of the game, but they're going to have to score points and score a few of them, I think, if they're going to beat this Australian team. So, as you say, Shirley, no pressure on them. They might not make a World Cup final again, so they've really got to give it their all. I'd hate to see them sort of try and out-structure Australia and block play and do all that when that's not, their game. So
yeah. And just quickly, like team of the tournament, I think they had the most players in it from any country. They had 5, and guys like Tim Laffey just making the team. Like, you never would have picked that pre-tournament. So it's been already a massive success for Samoa. So why not roll the dice, give it your all for 80, see what happens.
Tim Laffey, out of nowhere. Really,
Sign him up.
really is out of
Sign him
nowhere.
up.
The next final, or I imagine it's a prelude to the men's final, but the women also $1.10. New Zealand 680, 650.
Yeah, 650.
650 in the head-to-head book.
And 16.5 point underdogs, the Kiwis are. As you said, Paul, they played in the final pool match. Australia won 10-8. I was reading before, this will be the third game in 7 or 8 days for these two teams. Really quick turnaround.
$1.12 now, the Aussie woman.
Whoa! Kiwis are coming.
$5.70.
They're coming.
Well, the money's
They're getting
come.
smashed.
Look, the money has come for the Kiwi Ferns. Not to the same extent as the Samoans, and certainly not to the same extent as the Black Ferns saw on Saturday. But it's coming, and I get the feeling we're going to see that slow trickle of action on the Kiwi Ferns start to sort of build up the closer we get to kick off early Sunday morning. So I get the feeling the bookies are probably going to have to make another move or two before kickoff, and they're now 15.5 point underdogs, the Kiwi Ferns, which is, in my opinion, still way too much. It's a gift.
Surly, what do the Kiwi Ferns need to do to upset Australia?
Pretty much what they've been doing, really. They've got so many threats out wide with your Vahakolos. They've got players galore that just have so much one-on-one individual talent. So I think they just need to keep doing what they've been doing throughout this tournament, playing some expensive, exciting footy, backing their skill set, using their big forwards through the middle, and just kind of playing over the top of teams. I almost wish we didn't play Aussie a couple of weeks ago or a week ago when it was 10-8, because prior to that, Australia had it so easy. They were putting 80 points on everyone, whereas we were getting into a bit more of an arm wrestle. So coming in fresh, having not played them, might have been a bit more to our beneficiary because they hadn't had a tight game. But I believe we can win this, let alone the line. So, yeah, fingers crossed we show up with some confidence. But the girls seem quietly confident as well. They have a great culture in amongst the teams, much like the Black Ferns did. They have a bit of fun on and off the field. So I'm excited for this game. And like Paulie said, I think the money will come for them once people realize how much they are paying, because I was shocked when I saw this. I hadn't seen the odds prior to checking it out before the show. So I'm going to snap that up as well. It's big money for me.
Even the semi-final with that 220 or 230 against England. That was,
why were they outsiders?
Exactly. And I guess because of that, they're kind of in a similar spot to Samoa, where, yes, it's a traditional Trans-Tasman matchup against Australia, but they're the underdog who won the semi-final. They're not expected to win this.
When you look through our side as well, like our halves pairing is world class. We literally have the best best player in the game, as voted this morning. So I don't see any reason why Aussie should be this clear of favourites anyway. I get that they are favourites, but yeah, this is pretty staggering.
We all need to place our bets before this podcast comes out, so we don't miss the.
I get the feeling once punters just head to the TAB website and see that price, they'll be jumping on.
All right. I didn't jot down how you guys went betting-wise last week.
Yeah, should we just get to bets this week then?
No good then.
I will tell you that Paulie went big on England. England. I warned him. I said, you did this with Tonga the week before against Samoa. Are you sure? He said, yes. And the result, Samoa's done him twice in a row.
I would have followed you in, Paul.
I was all Kiwis, so not much better. But hey, we went down swinging.
I also would have followed you in too, Surly.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, let's go this week. Paul, your best bet this week.
I'm going to go the Kiwi Ferns plus 15.5 at $1.87. Yep, sometimes you get an early Christmas present. I know we're not into December yet, but jump on.
Silly?
Yeah, much the same. I'll order the same drink. 15.5, $1.87. Crazy.
Make it 3, please, bartender.
Yep.
Yeah. Best total.
Well, the only one I could find was for the Toa Samoa Kangaroos match, and the total match points set at 44.5 at the moment. I think we're going to see some fairly open footy. I'm going to take the over 44.5 in that match at $1.85.
Silly?
Yeah, forced into the same, so I went the overs, but I think if that Kiwi Ferns totals anywhere around the 38, 40 mark, go the unders again, I think it could be another arm wrestle. So, yeah, wait to see what it comes out at, but if it's around that mark, which it probably will be, then go the unders.
Okay. I've gone to the total points band.
Of course he has.
For Samoa. I'm
10 and 20.
10 or less.
Oh.
At 225. Australia's defense been pretty good while they've played some not great teams. The points against in all the games in the World Cup, 8-0-6-4-14. I don't think Samoa are a better team than the Kiwis.
Is Ashley Klein in the middle?
Not sure.
Probably.
I'm going to take a stab at Samoa to score 10 points or less at $2.25. I think 11 to 20 is the same price. Your multi-anchor, Paul.
Kangaroos 13 and over, $1.53.
Silly.
I actually have the Kiwi Ferns again at 15.5. I'll go with Samoa. Why not? Why not? Plus.
Samoa plus. I'm going to take Australia minus at $1.85.
I like it. Here we go.
Paul, your roughie.
I've got the Kiwi Ferns head-to-head at $5.70. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I went the Kiwi Ferns 1 to 12, $6.50. Just eked out an extra $1 or so. I think if they win, it'll be tight.
I am going to go Kiwi Ferns 1 to 12 also at $6.50. But I did have here as well Australia 31 to 40 at $6.
I hope you're wrong.
So do I. I don't want to see a walkover.
No.
But I'm just been burned by this Australian team before. I want to be on this time if they do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I see there are power plays available.
There are.
Oh.
So, Paul.
Yep.
While Celia and I have a look for ours, tell us what yours is.
There's a couple of that caught my eye. The one I've settled on is Josh Adokar to score 1 or more tries in each half at $4.50. We said he's the best winger in the world. I think he's going to get a few goes in this game as well. So I'm very happy to take him to score 1 or more tries in each half, $4.50. I think I took a similar power play in the grand final for Brian To'o to score a try in each half, which he did. And I think it was paying a wee bit more than $4.50. Yes. So, yep, the Fox, 1 or more tries in each half, $4.50.
Silly.
With my Samoan hat on, I'm going to go Brian To'o to score 1 or more tries in each half, paying $19. He was bloody close to winning Paulie a bucket load of cash in the grand final as the Dally M winner. So, Clive Churchill winner, sorry. So why not? He's going to do it in this one. Samoa are going to get up. To'o's going to score 1 in each half. The one paying 226 was quite tempting. To'o first, Taylor May anytime, but
Taylor May second.
Oh, second, sorry.
Yes,
I'll pick it back. That'll come in as well. So if you're a keen punter, get in on that one. But let's go to one or more in each half. $19.
Look, I really like both of those. So I'm going to take them both, and I'm also going to split you and say either Josh Adokar or Brian To'o to score the first try at $4.50.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
There are plenty of power plays there, punters, for this game, so go and check them out. The biggest one, Stephen Crichton to score the first try, Taylor May to score 2 or more tries, $326.
Take my money.
How
Love
good?
it. Love a lucrative payday. Get in on it. Chase
Oh,
it
yeah.
responsibly.
Responsibly, please,
Yes.
punters.
Yeah,
Bet responsibly. All right, boys. That'll do us
for the season.
for the season.
Mm.
Signing off. Thank you to all the punters for tuning in, for listening. Hopefully, we can find a couple of winners for you heading into the Christmas break. To you, Paul, thanks for running the ship all season and giving me a chance to bring it home in the World Cup.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all of those in the kitchen who prepared all the sausage rolls, sandwiches, the ball boys, ball girls. I'm looking forward to another big
Mum and Dad.
NRL season coming up.
Mum and Dad in the kitchen. Surly,
When do we get into pre-season training?
I don't know. I've already started. I started practicing kicking field goals last night.
Nice.
Surly, mate, thank you for joining us all season long and bringing your wonderful insight and incredibly powerful lopsided Warriors one eye. I love it.
Absolutely. And on that note, actually, just a little tip for punters, just a little Christmas gift. Went along to a few Warriors trainings early doors so far. The lads are looking sharp. Geez, they look good early. They all came back fit. Not many lads have been at the bakery. They looked ready to go. Some good numbers put up in the old Bronco, the fitness testing, and the new recruits, they were leading the way. So positive signs for 2023. Get on board now. I think you can get them to win the thing at around $50 if you get in sharp. So again, do it responsibly, but geez, running the eye over it like a good horse in the stable. I loved what I was seeing.
Right.
I got goosebumps, Paul. I got goosebumps.
We've recorded that little snippet from Surly there, and we'll replay that at the beginning of the 2024 season.
Oh, come on.
Well, I get the feeling that's exactly what he'll be saying at the beginning of the 2024 season. Like the look of this team, very fit.
Well, when Joey Manu's in the squad, it'll be hard to pass up on it, I'll tell you that much.
And I think Crichton and and Suwali and whoever else. No, so thanks, mate. And to Blake, if you're listening, you did okay this year too, mate. Thanks.
Wins the fight. Wins the charity fight. I want to see it.
Right, that'll do us. We'll leave it there.
Sweet.
And we will see you all next year for the Advantage Line. Cheers.